Have you noticed that just existing seems more expensive lately? Whether you're checking out at the grocery store or filling up at the gas pump, you aren't imagining things. Right now, the average American household is paying approximately $2,784 extra this year just to survive. So where is that money going? The biggest chunk comes from tariffs. Think of a tariff like a hidden tax on basically every item we buy that has an imported component. Clothes, electronics, groceries, they all cost more to bring into the country. For a typical family, that adds up to roughly an extra $2,000 a year in living costs. Then there is the cost of military conflict. When tensions escalate in the Middle East, we feel the shockwaves right here at home through immediate spikes in gas and food prices. That conflict drains another $1,000 from our households, pushing our everyday bills even higher. This massive financial drain isn't random. It is the direct result of specific policy decisions made by the Trump administration. Americans are waking up to this reality. We see that we are paying way more on every single trip to the store, and right now, 63% of the country opposes these tariffs. When your wallet gets squeezed that hard by decisions made far away, the natural reaction is frustration. People get angry, they take to the streets, and they march together to demand some kind of relief. It makes complete sense to protest. But we have to ask a hard question. Does marching in the street actually force the price of groceries back down? To understand why protests alone aren't enough, we need to look at the scale of the damage to the country's whole economy. When you add up the tariffs, the military escalation, and the resulting fallout, approximately $373 billion has been completely wiped out. That is a staggering number, so let's look at what it means on the ground. Take the sudden collapse of international tourism. In 2025, international visitors to America dropped by 4 million people compared to the previous year. To show you how severe that drop is, Canadian visits alone fell by an astonishing 22%. When tourists stop coming, that equates to $8.4 billion in lost spending. Local hotels lose their bookings, and their rooms sit completely empty. That creates a domino effect. Empty hotels mean local restaurants lose their customers, and small towns that depend on seasonal tourism get completely crushed. As these local economies break, the pressure on working families becomes unbearable. When a neighbor's livelihood disappears along with that $8.4 billion, the frustration felt in the streets becomes a reflection of real-world pain. But here is the difference between having a movement and having actual political power. Think of it like a car. You have an engine, and you have a steering wheel. Protesting is the engine. It creates the loud, massive energy necessary to show the government that workers are hurting. But emotional energy alone doesn't fix the cold math. In total, $134 billion vanished into escalating military operations. That money didn't rebuild American roads. It didn't fund local schools. It just disappeared. The raw energy on the sidewalk is the spark. Often, the next phase of a movement moves from the street to the doorstep, where dedicated organizers spend months with clipboards registering one voter at a time to prepare for Election Day. To actually rewrite the laws and reclaim those lost billions, raw anger must be converted into an organized voting strategy. Let's bring this back to the $2,784 missing from your wallet. Being angry about that bill won't magically deposit the money back into your bank account. This graphic outlines the exact mathematical goal for the 2026 election. We need to target the 63% of Americans who already oppose these expensive policies. The task now is to convert that passive frustration over high grocery and gas bills into active, strategic voter turnout. Choosing new leaders at the ballot box who will reverse these policies is the only official way to stop the financial bleeding. Bad economic decisions successfully took thousands of dollars straight out of your pocket. That is a painful reality. But the empowering truth is that everyday citizens currently have the numerical advantage to fix this issue, as long as we act together. So get organized. Channel all the massive energy of the protests into a concrete voting strategy and prepare to win. Demanding change in the streets is a powerful start. But true financial recovery comes from voting it into reality at the ballot box in 2026.